Claudia, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yes.
How are you? Good to see you again.
Great to see you too.
Twice in less than a week.
Oh, I think that's
right?
Our Lady. I think that's Our Lady that's talking.
Yes. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
No problem. It's good. Great to have you, Our Lady. How are you?
Thank you. Great.
Hi.
You.
That's Aline. Aleti?
Our Lady, yes.
Aleti. Okay. What business are you in?
I just started my consulting firm.
Okay. And what are you consulting in?
So right now I'm consulting for an international organization doing finance and operations.
Mm-hmm. That sounds exciting.
Yes.
You're doing it remotely?
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's nice.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, I'm so excited because first of all, it's Women's Month, and we have an opportunity to rebrand our WEN breakfast, which was very popular, and we are definitely gonna have tea. I was just showing my stuff. I have my tea with me, and and you know, whether your tea is spiked or whether you just got tea, that's also good. And we're gonna talk and share and kind of try to, you know, talk about how are we titans in challenging times to keep our businesses afloat. And we have Mary Becker and Dawn Marie Grima.
Hi, hello.
Just introduce yourself when you get an opportunity, what business you are in and what you're doing.
Okay. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
We can hear you.
Hello, beautiful people.
We need that energy. We need that energy. So what business are you in?
Who, me?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have a couple of things going on. I started out doing a gourmet sauce, which I still do. And I also have an online presence for women's clothing. And I started getting into spiritual life coaching. So that's what I'm doing right now.
The spiritual life coaching?
Yes.
Oh, it's so needed.
Yes.
It is so needed. People are experiencing pandemic fatigue.
Yes, yes.
And honestly, if you can find your spiritual zone, however you find it, go to it.
Yeah, I kind of stumbled into it. Just going through some different, well, I was born and raised in a church, lady. So I guess this is, they say things happen. God prepares you to walk into your destiny. So I guess this is what I was all meant to do. All of that, and here I am.
So. Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. And we've got one of our consultants, Karen Pisiora. Hey.
Hi, everyone. Good to see everyone.
Hello.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I've been working with small businesses for over 10 years now. I've been with the SBDC for 3 years, I think now.
Wow, time flies.
It does. It absolutely does. And I love that every time I pick up the phone and talk with another small business owner, we're, talking about different things and assessing different opportunities. And I'm always helping someone meet a new challenge or find a new strategy or figure out a way to build and grow their businesses. So I also coach through another organization, and I am the manager of the Profeta Urban Investment Foundation, which gives zero interest loans to minority and women-owned businesses in Newark. Has to be in Newark. So I love helping small business owners in and around Essex County. And all my work with small businesses is based on what I learned when I was in the corporate world. I started my career in financial services and moved into investor community. So I think the place where I bring the most value is helping business owners understand their financials and how to leverage the way they communicate with the world to improve their financials. And I feel very, very strongly that every business owner needs to get comfortable with the numbers, needs to understand their income statement and how to read it, needs to understand their balance sheet and how to read it, and manage their cash flow well. So I'm thrilled to be here this afternoon.
Wonderful. Welcome to Tea and Talk. And then we've got Mary Becker, also our other consultants. And please, if you are not speaking, just mute your microphone so that we don't get feedback and you can clearly hear the other person speaking. And then when the other person finishes speaking, I guess the cue is they will mute their phone and then the next person can take on and speak. So when you finish speaking, mute your phone so that everybody knows you are finished and let the next person unmute.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. So what I chimed in a little late here because I'm in the middle of doing taxes at the time. So what are we just introducing ourselves?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies. Okay, my name is Mary Baker. I am the founder of Baker Tax and Accounting Services. We are a tax, accounting, and bookkeeping services for small businesses. We help you get your finances in order so that we prepare you for any financial situations in your business. So if it's government grants, PPP loans, or anything like that, or bank loans, we help you get that in order. Mary Baker, get your business in order. Thank you. Do I need to explain my history a little bit? We've been around for 30 years.
Just go ahead and mute. Once you
okay.
Go ahead and mute so that the next person can unmute.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I think we have Stacy. Stacy, do you want to introduce yourself? I don't think Stacy's on another line. Let's see who else.
She's on mute. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was still muted. So hi everyone, my name is Stacy Reagan. I am an emerging entrepreneur. I'm the owner of Raising Scholars Child Care Center. It is an evening and overnight child care center. I'm hoping to open this year. I just want to say thank you to the NJSBDC, and especially to Karen, because she's the one that introduced me to this program. The workshops have been awesome. I've learned a lot, and that's why I can confidently say that I'll be ready to go this year. Even down to yesterday, the business apps workshop, Priscilla gave us so much great information. So I'm just looking forward to today's discussion, and hopefully next time we meet this year during during Women's History Month or Women's Empowerment Month, whichever way you want to call it, I'll take it. I'll be saying, yeah, I'm a proud owner. We're up and running, and this is how many kids I got, and this is how many families we're serving, and I'm opening a new location. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Anyone else that want to introduce? We have Caroline with us. Caroline, do you want to unmute? Introduce yourself and your business.
I think she's already unmuted.
Oh, she's connecting to audio.
Okay.
Is Arlette?
Sure. I introduced myself earlier, but once again, my name is Arlette Del Pino, and I just started my consulting business. Currently, I have my first client in the area of finance and operations, supporting setting up some initial processes and systems. By virtual background, that's what I've been doing in the past. So I'm really excited to be able to do it independently. And just like others have said, I'm tremendously grateful to everybody on the NJS BDC team for the range of support that has provided me, and the vision and the encouragement. And really excited to be with all of you. This is my first time at this event, so I feel like I really need this support, and to hear and learn about your stories, and to be encouraged, and also understand what all of you are going through. So I think it's just a tremendous opportunity for us to come together and really connect and bond, and through this become more resilient. So thank you, everyone.
You're welcome. And Shanda?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shonda Cunningham. I am in the process of getting my new small business situated. I've just registered my LLC. I am here to learn all that I can because this is really new for me. And I am a paralegal. I offer paralegal services. I'm a virtual assistant, but I specialize in paralegal services. And I'm also a New Jersey notary. So that's about it. Nice to meet everybody.
Nice to meet you as well.
Nice meeting you as well. And we are expecting about 28 people. And so, but we only have 2 hours. And I just want to give a background of this event. Before we go, we're going to kind of buy time until we have got a significant number of people, because I've got some juice to share with this topic. I'm so excited. But we used to have, some of you might have had, we used to do it as a WEN business breakfast. And it was always fun having breakfast with the ladies in the morning, and networking and meeting one-on-one and telling our stories. And then, of course, the pandemic happens. And now what we are doing is we are actually focusing on, we decided to do tea and talk, 4 o'clock tea. And it kind of thought, okay, we can also gossip about, business and what's going on, because a lot has happened. And literally, I can see, if you need to have your tea right now, me and Karen are drinking our tea. And I wanted to find out, if you're drinking your tea, what tea are you drinking? Because I'm having ginger and turmeric.
I have a nice Darjeeling. It's one of my favorites.
Which one?
Darjeeling. It's an Indian tea.
Oh, okay. So we could discuss how tea is good for you, because that's another thing that I've gotten into these teas that I create myself in my Vitamix. And it's just roots, any root or leaf that I can turn into tea, into a tea drinking tea, I'll take it. So with the WEN breakfast, we now have got tea and tea just to share. And I think this is so needed, because of we are so isolated as business women. We are alone in our offices, at home. And unless you are on a Zoom presenting, listening to a presentation and get an opportunity, you are really alone. And so I think having a networking event where it's a little bit informal, we can put our head down, we can relax, we can um, get to hear from each other. Although we have a topic that we kind of frame our event around, the whole idea is we want it to be interactive. We want to hear who you are, what your business is about. And at some point we'll talk about, what are you going through? And hey, when I'm doing my presentation, chime in and say, yeah, I did that, or, whatever, so that we can keep it, we can share. And, nobody has all the information. And I see Vicky has joined us as well. Please unmute and tell us a little bit about yourself and your business.
Hello, ladies. My name is Vicky White. I actually met Tendai when I was working at Rutgers University. Currently, I am a pastor. I've been a pastor since 2012. And I am venturing what I aspire to do, and my heart's desire is to have a building where I can have a shelter for women to come in, sometimes, whether it's from a bad relationship, just life happening, I encounter a lot of women that are broken. And it's real easy to say, you know, they say things like change people, places, and things, but everybody doesn't have that option. So to just create a safe place where sometimes people just need a break from the consistency of whatever it is that they're dealing with, to know how to move forward. I've been working in outreach, I want to say, probably the last 15, 20 years, going into shelters, ministering to people, just helping them to come back into mainstream society, men and women alike. So that's what I aspire to do. So I'm just trying to gain all the information, glean everything that I can. I don't believe that I have to reinvent the wheel. There are resources and there are knowledgeable people. And you know, I believe this is a setting that's going to help me get to where I'm trying to get.
Have you set it up as a nonprofit or for-profit?
It would be not. I'm thinking nonprofit. At the current time, I do have a 501c3, but you know, again, as a novice, I'm just really in. It's been a desire for a very long time, but I actually never put my foot forward to gain the information, to start looking what the possibilities are. So it may be a for-profit. You know, I have to first become more educated of the possibilities, and it's such a urgent need. It pulls on my heartstrings. If not for the grace of God, 22 years ago, I would have been living in a shelter myself. But by the grace of God, I didn't actually have to live in a shelter. But because I work with people in shelter, I mean, it's just a great need. I can't even really articulate it all. But yeah, that's where my passion is.
Fantastic. That's really a great mission to achieve. And anybody who's in the nonprofit world, I mean, you want to, well, the Foundation Center is now called Candid.org. It's full of resources that you could use. I would also encourage you to look into grants.gov, where you get federal grants for also domestic, international, you name it. But you really have to have your infrastructure for your nonprofit to get.
Yes.
Talking about the federal government, I have Claudia Yeboro, and if Claudia, you can unmute, introduce yourself for a minute before we move on to Ingrid.
Thank you, Dr. Nadoro. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Claudia Yarborough. I'm from the Small Business Administration. And as I heard earlier, the young lady that has the nonprofit and she's interested in building, I will stick with the SBDC. And as Tendai stated, grants.gov has a lot of information, and you could find something to provide technical assistance to women. And in addition, I would go to the State of New Jersey website and look for something at the New Jersey EDA. But at the SBA, our focus right now is disaster. We're trying to help everyone with the PPP loans, as Mary Baker stated earlier. It's PPP and EIDL loans. And hopefully we'll recover and we'll focus on the underserved, our women, our veterans, and others via our community advantage loan and microloan and the 7-day loan product. Thank you.
Thank you. So Ingrid, can you unmute and let's hear you introduce yourself?
Hi, good day. Could you hear me well?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay, hi, I'm Ingrid Bell. I wear many hats. I am at the Rutgers Center for Supply Chain Management. And also I am a small business owner on the side. And off the hours, you know, that's what we do. What I'm doing on the side, I'm here for two reasons. One, I want to stay connected to understand what's going on in the business world from a supply chain management perspective. and also from my small business where we are in the business of home improvement, changing your current space into more workable space. We know with everything that is going on right now, everybody's trying to find alternate ways of working and spaces. So we're in that space where my husband and I form a company and we're helping you, like, for example, turn your basement into a living area. We're looking at sensory rooms, which is a great idea I got from the Small Business Development Center, Dr. Ndora. And also turning your attics into a livable space. So some people are doing also their garage. So, you know, so we're doing a lot of that stuff and remodeling bathrooms, kitchens, and also taking down walls. There's some projects we do where you take down a wall and make the space bigger because a lot of kids are moving back home. So I'm here to continuously learn and add value and receive value and get to the next level personally and professionally. So thank you.
Okay, that's great. I think so far, everybody who has, we have 13 participants and we will wait as other people join as they will. But I really wanted to talk about this idea, especially in Women's History Month, about being the titan of your business in challenging time. And I was watching about a year ago, Shonda Rhimes. She has a TED Talk called The Year of Yes. And as I was watching, I've always admired her from a distance. I know at one point she had like 6, 7 shows running at the same time on prime time. She's a single mom who has adopted, I think, three girls, 3 kids. And when she was saying that she had made this decision she was very private and very quiet, and she always, when she was asked to speak, to come out, present, she would always say no. But then she made a conscious decision that she was going to accept for a whole year any invitation that she is asked to come and speak at big conferences, at industry events, everywhere. She was going to say yes. And it actually opened up a whole lot of possibilities about her self-discovery. But what I also noticed when I was listening to her talk, she kept on calling herself, a titan like me. And I really, really was fascinated. So the first time I was, a titan like me, and a titan who is in this place and who is in this place. And of course, I ran to Wikipedia because I know what the word titan means. We all do. But I was like, okay, let me Google it and see what it says in the dictionary and on Wikipedia, especially because that's what I do. I'll take words and that I know already, but I just want to know what is the narrative behind that word. And when I went on Wikipedia, it said it's any family of Greek giants in Greek mythology, from Uranus and Giot. And so I was like, oh, okay. And then of course the dictionary definition, being a giant, or a size or power, having power. And then, also one who stands out for greatness of achievement. And I was like, and the whole year, because I think as women, and especially with me, I've worked with women both domestically and overseas. We are so modest to call ourselves titans or to call ourselves in any flattering manner that, expresses our greatness or expresses our power, and the influence that we have, whether it's home, business, community, church. I mean, we do a lot of things. And one thing that I've noticed is we'll do a lot of things and they'll be like, oh no, I'm just helping out at church. And yet you're contributing so much value in your community. You're volunteering for so many things. And then you still come back, and as business women, you still do all that, volunteer, sit on the board of education in your district, sit on the PTA of your school, and then you still come home and you're running your business. You're still the head of household. And, men will be like, okay, I went to work. Now I come and hang it. Let somebody take care of me. And, they're completely like, dependent at that point. They don't feel guilty. We are doing it all. And I was like, we are titans. We are titans of our families. We are titans of our businesses. And we need to embrace that and walk in the truth of that. So
we've been socialized not to. We've been socialized to downplay ourselves. We've been socialized to lift up the men in our lives, historically speaking. We've been socialized and taught to be quieter, be smaller, physically be smaller, contribute less, let the men lead. Like everything historically has taught us to stand down and step back instead of step up and stand in your own personal greatness. And saying yes to things like what you're describing can be a little scary, feeling a little bit. I think another thing that we're often taught is to do our homework and make smart decisions. And so sometimes when you say yes before you think it through, you feel like you're not being true to what you've been taught to do. And so I can think of a couple of examples where I've said yes to something and then afterwards have said, oh my God, what did I just say yes?
Exactly.
No, I can do this. I can do this. But I think that as women, we have overwhelmingly, and not just us, but our mothers, our grandmothers, our great grandmothers, as far back in time as you want to go, have been.
And the important thing is our sons and daughters are also watching. We might say they're equal, whatever. And I always say when I talk about empowering or empowering, I never really use the word empowering women anymore. And I'll explain during this talk. I call it empowering yourself. Because as a businesswoman, I've had to find myself empowering. And I always say it's not a zero-sum game, that if I am great, my partner or the men in general, or my brothers or anyone of a male gender becomes less. And, if you're also in a person who has got a same-sex partner, there's always that power play also, depending on who is bringing who is the income earner and the person who does. And yet everyone in a relationship or in a partnership of some kind, or in a, brings something to the table. And whatever it is, or even with your community, you are in relationship with your community, you are in relationship with your church, right? And you are bringing something to it, but you always minimize what you are bringing to the table. And when I talk about being a titan, it's setting yourself up with this mindset of saying, I am great. I am good at what I do. I am contributing something of value. Even if it's just 1 hour of volunteering a week, you are contributing something of value, and that's what makes you powerful. And if you're going out doing speaking engagement, you are a guru. I always say, I'm a guru. I'm a guru of my life, because who else knows your life more than you? Yes, we can go for self-help books. We can engage in self-help or how to conversations. But at the end of the day, I always believe that, the best solutions of your life come from within you, right? So we were talking about this, and I would like everybody, if you're in a position to get a pen and paper, because I want you to do some soul searching, because I also want you to self-watch when you are responding to these questions on paper. And I'd like you to write them down as I am calling them out, because we're going to talk on certain areas, because this is also about our businesses. I'm going to try to give you not just a generic talk, but I'm also going to give you some structure to the way what we are talking about. Because at the end of the day, we are in challenging times. And we are trying to pivot. We are trying to manage and navigate and make sure that our businesses stay afloat. We are thinking in terms of, well, you know, if I've been furloughed or if my job is no longer there, what else? What's next? And usually you have the most control when you go into your own self-employment, or when you create employment for yourself, or when you start a business, because then you are the decision maker. And the reason why I was explaining that, I now like the word empowerment, because if I look at all the movements that have happened about the emancipation of women in general, you know, from the suffrage, we were asking to vote, and we had to wait to be given permission for our advocacy to vote, right? And then there was a movement that came, the feminist movement. We were asking to be allowed to go to work, and as well as, you know, and we still did the homework and be mothers and look after ourselves, our children, but we were still asking for a level playing field in the workforce so that we would also be able to work, right? And then we have now the Me Too movement. Oh no, and then we have the women's empowerment movement after the feminists, where everybody was like, you know, we need to empower women, and all these policies now were brought in. But even with and this is global, and the women's empowerment actually was the one that went global, because the voting rights was only United States. The feminist movement touched some other continents, but like I remember one time I was doing a consultancy in Africa, and I had this group of women who had been given donor money, right? And I would go, and this was in I would say maybe 97. We were already done with the feminist movement, right? And I would go and ask these women, well, what's your name? And then the woman would say, well, I'm Mrs. Frank something, whatever the last name is. And to me, you know, coming from the United States, I mean, I grew up in this culture, right? But coming from the United States, and women are still introducing themselves as, you know, I'm asking you, what's your name? And they say, I'm Mrs. Frank, let's say Frank Dodd, you know. And I'm like, no, 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 no. What's your name? And they're looking at me perplexed, like, oh, well, what other name? I'm like, what's your given name that you were given by your parents? Okay, 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 okay. And then they'll say, oh, my name is Letitia. And I'll be like, oh my goodness, you know, this is 1996, 97. And women are still introducing in other parts of the world with their marital status. Or they'll say, I am mother of so and so, as a way of introducing them, because, you know, if they are not married or they're widowed or they've, they will then introduce them, or they will introduce themselves and say, I'm daughter of so and so. All those things I realized, you know, up to that point with the women's empowerment, you know, we have always been asking for permission. Now we get to the Me Too movement, because otherwise, if all these other movements had corrected and empowered women or empowered women, we wouldn't be having the Me Too movement today. And the Me Too movement is the beginning now of where we are talking about, Me Too. And we are also realizing, no, harassment wasn't just happening to women, it's also harassing to men. And so you really wonder what power does to people where they feel they can be over other people. And then I started thinking in 2008, no, empowerment, because empowerment hasn't brought about the results that we were looking for, right? There have been some changes, but we are still kind of not thinking. And I realized, no. It's gotta be about us. It's gotta be, the psychology is in our heads. And unless we start thinking of ourselves as titans, that are where the power is within us, empowerment, we are still going to act to the way we are socialized, or the way that we have been modeled to socialize. And so as a woman business owner, when you are out there, you are on a level playing field, okay? So when you go to make a presentation or negotiate a deal, you have to bring it. They're not gonna be saying, well, because it's a woman business, well, maybe we need to give her some slack. They just want you to be efficient, to be capable, to be competent, to be a thought leader, to be deliver what you promise to do, right? You are business women. So you are in charge. You have to define what equality looks like. You have to define what your power looks like. So how come you're not thinking of yourself as a titan in your business? And therefore, what does that being a titan, what does it bring? What are the responsibilities that are associated? Because yeah, if I start calling myself I'm a titan, which means I'm a guru in what I do, I have to have legitimacy, right? I have to actually step up and um and and show up and do just like anybody else. It doesn't matter whether my gender, once I get a deal, doesn't matter. Even when I'm talking to my clients and I promise them a certain, my value proposition in my business. And now that we are in this experience, you know, customers, and they want to have a great experience, this experience paradigm. It doesn't matter if a customer comes in or a client comes into your office or comes into your business, they want to have a good experience. They don't care because you're a woman. You know, I want value for money. I want to have a good experience. I want you to deliver to me what you promised that I will get when I show up and I encounter your business. And that's the service, that's the product that I want. So you start realizing that I think as business women, we have an incredible responsibility to move, to do this paradigm shift mentally, to go towards understanding that power and empowerment and authority comes from greatness, comes from within you. So the question that we're gonna be interactive is, we've been in a pandemic for months now. It's a year, this year anniversary, March, we had our anniversary from the beginning of this shutdown. Does your business model still make sense? Yes or no? Just write it down. You don't have to say it to me. Does your business model, and even those that have just started the business that didn't have businesses then, ask yourself, does the way you operate your life still make sense? It's a yes and no answer. And then we'll talk. There are several factors we're gonna discuss, and then we'll discuss, I'm gonna present, and then we're gonna discuss, you know, one of the things that need to think about when you're talking, looking and self-analyzing your business model is, am I still in alignment with the objective or the vision of what I wanted to do? And given the external changes that we have encountered, is there still harmony between my vision of what I wanted to do and what I anticipated to be doing or not? I can tell you that I really got thrown with the pandemic. I mean, I had everything. And in 2019, and I'll tell you my story, I ran a hospitality business. And of course, we had gotten to a place where we are realizing a hospitality business, you're actually in the real estate business. It's like people who run restaurants, they are in the table turning business. It's how many times you can turn that table, right? So same thing with the hospitality business. We are on Airbnb. We've got 4 listings. We've got, I own my property where I live, and we have rooms. So as frequently as I can turn those rooms, it will determine how much money I'll make. And so in 2019, we've done a lot of capital improvements to increase the experience of our guests. We had also we've pivoted into products, home interior decor products. So I have, and we've gone online with those products. So I had pillows, cushions. I have 10 pieces in my collection. And we had only done 2 colors, and we were going to do 3 colors. So right there, the pandemic hit and I couldn't manufacture. I was like, okay, I can't go into the other 3 colors to have 5 colors that I wanted to do. But in 2019, we had already started our online store on Amazon. And then the pandemic hit, we were shut down for about 2 to 3 months because we couldn't take anything. Then of course, as we were slowly opening up, I had to start thinking, I mean, the opportunity was there because we had all these visiting frontline workers coming to New Jersey, because remember, New Jersey was most hit, and New Jersey, the tri-state area, New Jersey, New York, and the West, the East Coast, California, Washington, Seattle, but it was mostly in this area that started the tsunami of the pandemic. So we were getting all these requests for accommodation, but I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. There was no PPE. We didn't have COVID-19 policies. And so we were kind of like, there are opportunities, but we are not ready because we're dealing with a health crisis here, right? So you realize automatically, and the funny part about it, a year before, my daughter had asked me, what if you can't run your bed and breakfast? How would you bring in income? What would you do? And I was like, oh no, it's always gonna be there. There is no way, Airbnb or booking.com or TripAdvisor is going anywhere. We are, on the main road. We are 15 minutes from the airport. We are 20 minutes out of the city. We've got bus, we've got train, and there are no hotels anywhere around me, okay? Because I was like, and then I never thought a pandemic would hit our shores, right? So you find that, and so this is why I'm asking. I had been pivoting and things changed, and I had to change a lot of things. And I'd already changed my business model. So we have kind of maintained our business model, but we have changed our policies in terms of to make sure that we do the health. And so you need to be in that alignment space. Is what my vision of my business, given the change that has happened, am I still in alignment? Because if you can't answer that question, it's either a yes or no. And each one of those yes or no's will lead you in a different direction where you need to be going when you're thinking about alignment. But there are other things that come with alignment. There are other indicators that you have to think about. So we'll talk about structure of your business. We'll talk about processes in your business, internal as well as external. We'll talk about cash flow and revenue, incomes. We'll talk about performance measurements, and we'll talk about incentives. And I want to be asking you, and we'll talk about marketing, marketing service mix, or marketing product mix in your business, because these questions are meant to help you start thinking. Am I just on autopilot, just trying to recover, or am I thinking like a Titan? I know I'm great. I know I can arrest this situation, and I need to address. So these are provocating questions that I want you to think about. So are you still in alignment given what everything has happened? And therefore, if you are not yet in alignment, here is where I want you to start. I want you to start thinking about the structure of your business. What is my internal or external operating structure of your business? And the structure of your business actually goes to the core of your business model. The business model, I would just flatly say, is how you bring value to your customers or clients. So are you still bringing structurally? How are you delivering? So let's think of structures. What is my supply chain? How am I delivering value to my clients or customers? This one you have to do a little bit of thinking, and then we'll discuss, and you can pick, and if something resonates with you in terms of thinking about it, you want to do that. The way I'm currently structured in my business, how is it impeding or enhancing my effectiveness in the business. Remember, I told you in my business, I had to stop getting clients who were frontline workers coming and requesting accommodation. We were closed, but they were finding me online and calling me because I was not ready with my COVID policies. I didn't have PPE to give them to ensure that I could, and I buy from this place called hospitalityservices.com or something. They had nothing and everybody was talking. Even Costa was telling me it's 7-8 weeks out to get Lysol. You know, it was crazy. Nothing was available. So you could order and you'll be waiting. I couldn't have people, although the opportunity to make money was there, right? But I couldn't because I had to think of the consequences of how to be effective. I can't risk my family being infected because these were people who were going to be working in hospitals, right? Now, the third question I want you to ask yourself, how can the business structure be modified to align with ongoing changes, right? Without necessarily compromising your business model. I mean, if you are in a business right now where, and the other thing is, a lot of you have gone virtual, right? Everybody has pretty much gone virtual. You have to upgrade your technology. You have to subscribe to Zoom, Go Meet, whatever platform. And if you haven't adapted to being virtual and find a way of delivering your service in a virtual way, or in a way that still maintains the quality and standard of experience that your customers were used to, then you are really you might be losing your business at this point. So we talked about alignment, imagining what does alignment look for you with your pre-existing business model. Now, how are you going to realign it, right? Now we are going into the factors that you need to think about, the structure. What is my structure of how I deliver value? How is it relevant? Is it efficient? Is it effective? And how can I modify it without compromising how I do business? Now let's talk about processes. You know, processes are the decisions that you make throughout your business in order to eventually either get the product or service out, or get paid, or get it into the hands of the customer. So what are the processes that you need to put in place? I had to put COVID health and safety policies in place before I could even get back up to operate, right? Think, what is it that you need to do? I had to buy PPE in order for me to start doing business in a safe and healthy way, right? How do they incur costs of doing business? Oh my goodness. I wasn't making money, but I was spending a lot of money, you know. And even I had to change, one of the processes that I changed was my housekeeping. We were doing housekeeping every week. We had to change our housekeeping to every 2 weeks, which meant that I now had to find the time to fill in, because I want to make sure that I'm not bringing housekeepers, who might be getting symptoms, So for a while, I didn't have a housekeeper. Even after I opened, me and my family, we had to do the housekeeping. We were going and spraying disinfectant on doorknobs, on lights, on everything, on counters in the middle of the night, just to make sure. We were encouraging people to wear gloves. We're encouraging guests to wear masks. And sometimes, you could also see that process-wise, even with people, if there's a lag in behavior modification, right? And you are talking to your customers right now, and they're like, well, but I need to touch the product. I need to feel it. And you're like, no, we don't allow you anymore to try it. And they're like, well, but if I don't try it, and you're thinking, yeah, you know, I want the sale, business is skimpy, it's slow, but if I let them try, I'm compromising. And there's some things you're just gonna have to say no in your business. What technology do you need to put in place to add value? And this is where your process is now. You start thinking. We had asked last week, we had our SBDC day, and we had a lady there who is in the printing business, and you could feel her exasperation because she was like, nobody's ordering marketing collateral, paper collateral. We are really down our printing. And one of the things that we talked to her was, forget printing. We even have stopped printing. We are not printing any collateral. If we need anything, it has to be electronic. This is where everybody has gone to. So think about other services when you are developing that collateral on paper to the time when you print it. What are some of the services in that supply chain of development can you do? One of the things we're like, but you have got people in your office, in your printing shop, doing graphic design. Start selling graphic design, you know, as a service that you now offer for people. Start selling electronic letterheads because people still want their brand to go out. Start selling electronic letterheads and electronic business cards that people don't have to hand out a paper marketing material. Start selling websites, you know, the website, etc. These are the things you have to now, you as a business owner, think. Because this is where greatness comes from. How can I continue be in business and look for areas of opportunity within what I do? Otherwise, think of completely outside the box. What complementary services can I offer in my process of doing business? What have my customers been saying that I should be listening to, that I should start creating a business so that my business is a one-stop shop? Because in the past, you were probably referring them elsewhere. Now you need to get that competency in that business. What you might even go into consulting about just telling how people's image online should look like, right? if you are in graphic design, or if you are in whatever, you can say, well, you know, we also provide website evaluation. We also provide content marketing, you know, where we write things for you and you're still, you know, your images to change, etc. We are also helping you with policies so that you remain COVID compliant with the government and your municipality. I mean, think of all the things of ways of creating your business and services, complementary services that you can offer. So that's processes. How do you deliver? How do you adapt your processes to the current environment? Because now the experience of actually being face to face with a customer and persuading them to sell or to buy your product is no longer there. It's all virtual. And you might have to mail it to them. They can't try it on. Whatever service you are in. If you're in a service business, it's kind of a little easier than people who are in a product business. Even at Costco, they don't even make you test product anymore. Because I used to love going to browse in Costco and test their samples. I'm scared, even if they try to give me samples, I'm scared. You know? And the other thing I always want you to do is go to the big businesses that do services that are similar to yours and see how they're doing it. You get ideas from there as well. Now let's talk about revenue. Oh my goodness. And I always say to people, when we are in challenging times, forget a balance sheet, you know, profit and loss. You have no time for that. It's cash flow. What's flowing in, what's flowing out. Cash flow is king. And especially when you have had a challenge where you had to close your business for 3 months, 6 months, and we have got all this unpredictability going on in our business. You are the Titan, right? Keep that in mind. You're still the Titan. You are in the driver's seat. You can't say, oh, I'm tired about this, but I'm going to have to pass it on to somebody else. It's you. You're it. How can you diversify your revenue? I heard some people talking that, now we are in the spiritual space, we are talking, and I hope you are monetizing the information and the education that you're giving, and the spiritual and the emotional support that you're giving, or you're using it to drive customers to your other businesses that you're already doing, so that people, you remain relevant and people know that you are there, right? So are you focusing on cash flow? That's my first question. Yes or no? Because if you are not focused on cash flow and you're still in, oh my goodness, what are we going to do with the pandemic has come, the pandemic has come. It's here to stay for a while. So focus on how much money is coming in, and try to also focus on how much money you're putting out. One of the things that I always say is think, and we already talked about, think of how can I bring more money by any means necessary. And this is where becoming a thought leader and monetizing yourself as a brand also becomes important. And be listening. I think listening is key. When somebody is complaining about something and you've got the skill and talent to charge for it, be on it, okay? Be on it, because this could be telling you something of a need that's emerging out there. There are so many concierge businesses and so many lifestyle businesses that are coming up. Can your business be a lifestyle business that can generate revenue as a lifestyle business? Okay, so those are opportunities. Opportunities. What opportunities do you have for revenue diversification? What do you need to reallocate your funds? You have to take money from somewhere else, put it somewhere else. One of the, we call it revenue retrenchment. Sometimes, a lot of businesses have to let employees go because they have to kind of hold on to your cash flow because they don't know how long this thing will last. But one thing I'll tell you is revenue retrenchment is not always the best way for small businesses to save their businesses, to save their companies. You need to focus more on strategies that you can use to bring in money. You understand me? Because just moving money around and reprioritizing that I'm going to be using my money for PPE that I was using for chocolate in my B&B, or that I was using for all these other fancy things, is not going to bring in more money. So ultimately, you just want to focus on getting more money. Now, I'm going to go through quickly the last 3 points. Marketing product mix. If anything, what products and services should I continue or discontinue? The decision in your business to continue with those products is as important as the decision to discontinue with those products and services. And then what products and services should I include? I always say there's a 4-way matrix. You want all services and products, marketing, like if you're allocating marketing dollars, am I using that to promote all services that we already have a competency for, to the same market, to the same customers? Or do I want to take those same products and start selling them to new customers, potential customers that are coming up? Or do I want to actually create new services and start selling it to the customer base that I already have? It's much easier to promote a new service to an existing customer base. Or do I want to even come up with a new product and sell it to a completely new customer base? That's completely pivoting your business into other services. Because we saw 6 months into the pandemic, a lot of businesses that had been manufacturing went into manufacturing of PPE because it was a need, it was a demand, but they were not it took them a while to outfit their businesses into producing PPE. And everybody was ordering from China. My first masks that I got in my business, I had to order from China. And thank God I had those relationships. But guess what? The company that I ordered my masks from is the one that was doing my casualetics, my apparel, leggings. They were not in PPE. But all of a sudden they send me a message. I'm scrambling looking for PPE. And they're like, oh yeah, we can do masks. I was like, okay, I need masks and I'm gonna order so much, because I didn't care that they never did that before or whether they had that competence or not. I was in a situation and I needed PPE for my business, right?
And they realized that there was an opportunity.
And they really know every one of my contacts in China realized that America, we were short, and they all pivoted to PPE before our local companies, our domestic companies had done that. And some people were just becoming wholesalers. They order from China and they're selling it to everybody here because we all needed that, right? So you have to really think, and now we are at a point where we are just pandemic fatigue. That is real. What are we doing? You now have to slow down a little bit. And this becomes more important for you to start thinking more diligently and consistently about what you need to do. Now, with that you have now changed performance measurements in your business, the things that you are doing becomes very important. And when you have employees, it's a situation where, and I've been saying this funny for a while, I don't want to measure employees based on whether they check in 9 to 5, nor do I measure myself when I'm working, whether it's my SBDC job or whether it's my company that I'm working on, whether I check in 9 to 5. It's not the number of hours that I put in. It's what I produce during the time that I invest in anything that I'm doing. And that becomes very important to measure. What am I producing? What am I doing? That makes sense. Because if you promote that standard and that culture in yourself, you will also be able to expect it and promote it from your employees, from your suppliers. I was just talking to a guy who's been trying to help me with my website for a year now. And finally I said, okay, I'm gonna give him time. And he kept on pitching me so much that I was about to buy, and we had agreed on a price. And then I said, no, I need it in writing. And then they sent it in writing. It was like, oh, we'll observe this, we'll analyze this, we'll do this. And I was like, no, I'm not paying for you to analyze and observe. I'm paying for you to correct the problems you identified on my website. And that's what I want to pay you for. And I don't want you to be charging me per month. Why am I going to be paying you $300 per month? Tell me this is the service that we're going to offer, and these are the results you should expect to see, and it costs $300. I am struggling. I'm a small business. I want my money to go to marketing. I want my money to go to production of my products so that I can put more. I'm not going to pay you for the next 3 months, $900. That's a shipment I could be getting in my business. And he was just still pitching until I just said no. And now a week later, he's been burning my phone because now he realized he's even lost the $300 because I don't have time. I don't have time to keep on negotiating with you on price. I want results. I want your productivity. Even if I pay you $300 and it takes you 3 hours, and in 3 hours you come back with results, and my website, all the errors have been corrected and I can check and it's functioning, it's optimized, it's search engine optimization. And now I can go to marketing optimization, and now I can invest dollars in marketing. It's done. I want results. So as small businesses, we usually don't measure what we are doing, but it's very important for you to measure. And you start small. What are your key indicators, key performance indicators? Because if you're not watching and you don't know what they are, then look at other people in your industry and how they measure or how they explain their performance or their output. Because at the end of the day, you're going to spend a lot of money, especially on digital marketing, and not bring as much back into your business. And sometimes stop, reassess, monitor, and evaluate and continue. So my question for performance measurement is, what should you be monitoring and evaluating? Those of you who came in later, we just asked everybody to have a pen and paper and write these questions to answer for their own businesses, and we can discuss later. You know, what are you monitoring and what are you evaluating? And then what should I be measuring? Right? Now, the last thing is about incentives. This is, as much as it is a tragedy and a crisis, this is also an opportunity to start renegotiating with your suppliers, renegotiating with your accounts receivable and your accounts payable. Some of you who gets paid, if you've got contracts, you get paid. Some of the things you can't change, but some, like if you're in consulting, let's say, and you say, okay, pay me 75% upfront and then 25% at the edge. And sometimes I used to remember in international consulting, it was 25% upfront, 50% in the middle, and 25% at the end. Maybe you might want to do 50-50. Pay me 50% upfront. Remember, bring in that cash flow, because once a client has paid you 50%, they're not gonna back out. You understand? And they'll pay you the 20%, the remaining 50% almost at the end of the execution, if you are in that kind of service business. But this is an opportunity to give your customers incentives, discounts, coupons to come and continue buying, or to suggest new services that you are offering, and do packages. You know, if you buy this, then you'll get these additional services. I'll give you additional hour coaching on consulting or whatever. All those things, it's prime time for giving incentives and for also renegotiating. So you want to think to yourself, what incentives should I be renegotiating? You are the titan of your business. It's in your position. You are in the position to negotiate, to pivot, to change, and to call the shots and to make decisions. One of the things that we are seeing is people are so pandemic fatigued. They're in kind of like a holding pattern, right? They don't know whether to close their businesses because it's really hard. Some of them have got the PPP funds and it was not enough. They need more. Or some of them couldn't even get the PPE. They're self-funding and their revenues have gone down. So they don't know whether to close or whether to stay open or whether to pivot in this area or not. My recommendation to all you titans is make a decision and jump and see if you fall or fly. That's all I can say. But sitting in in flux is not gonna help you because you'll never know. It's better to fail and learn something than never to find out at all whether you would have failed or succeeded. So it's coming. There's so many opportunities that are out there. Start watching, start following the money. In my businesses, I'm always following the money because I've got a consulting company. I have an apparel company. And the apparel company, to tell you the honest truth, I just had to drop that ball because I couldn't deal with it. It requires a lot of heavy lifting. And it's a decision I had, and actually that's my favorite business. I love it so much. But I had to drop it because it requires so much lifting. And I'm now focusing on my consulting company and seeing what opportunities are out there. And I'm focused, my hospitality business is a no-brainer. I live here, you know, and, you know, guests come, guests leave. And we are just focused on making sure we maintain health and safety. We've got supplies to make sure everybody has a good living. And those are my suggestions that I've given to you. So let's discuss. Where are you? How are you feeling? You know, how can the SBDC help you with your business? Let's brainstorm, you know, and talk about what you need right now. Who wants to go first? Just unmute and start talking. I know some people have gone because they had to go. What are you going through, Karen? You're seeing a lot too.
Don't be shy. Don't be shy, ladies.
Always nice to hear your wisdom.
Thank you.
I am in a kind of unique position. Our business, we are a specialty flour company, and what we do is we manufacture the right flour for you. So the basic thing is many of you don't eat like you used to eat anymore. So for some people, because of health issues or diet preference, you eat differently. So our job is to give you the pancake you love, just the way you like it. Whether you are on gluten-free diet, you are diabetic or on dialysis, we have the right flour. Our specialty is blending nutrient-dense blends so that you can nourish naturally and properly. Now, when COVID came, COVID was actually good in a way because it allowed us to expand our line of products. What we started was different, and now we can serve more markets. But we were just about to take off. And so when they said, what was your revenue in 2019 versus 2020? 2020 was going to be the year where the revenue was going to come. And then it never came. And so we didn't have much in 2019 and definitely not in 2020. So we couldn't qualify for anything because there was nothing to compare with. But overall, our business, when we started, people were questioning because we make packages so that you can bake your own bread, you can make your own pancakes, you can do your own dumpling, and we give you in a healthier form. But people used to question, they said, who wants to cook? Nobody has time. Now with COVID, everybody wants to cook, you know. We want
has to cook.
Exactly. So we are now getting in the position where we want to educate the community joyfully so people can enjoy baking again, whether they bake bread, they make their muffins, and just the way they like it. So the challenge that we have, of course, is always money. But the good thing about our planning was that we needed money for labor. I can't afford labor. So, but what I've done is trying to expand the market so that I can bring market that will pay me for labor.
Okay, so you mentioned a few things that they were red flags, but they were also good things that you're doing. You said you have increased your variety of products, right? And you have expanded with the hope of getting new markets, or you already have the market, or it's to the same market, but you have expanded your product varieties. Now, do you know which one of your products are your best sellers? Because you are onto something, because people have gone to eating healthy. And, you know, let's help each other with our business, because this is why we are doing it as an open forum. And that's why I said measurements is very important. Which ones are your best products right now that you sell?
The products that are getting attention are our gluten-free products. Yes. And so because that our gluten-free products will serve people who are diabetic, people who are on low carb diets, so those ones are the ones that are getting through. But we know that we have to market. We haven't marketed enough really to
So how are
conclude
you
that.
marketing? What are some of the
That's where we are right now. We're just trying to market. So we haven't done enough. I can't say that we're not selling because we have not marketed enough. This is where we are to figure out how to get in. That's where we are. I just need help in access. So whether it's retail, nutritionist, a health coach around, because we have specific products. For example, right now, there are few people who are on dialysis. Okay, there are few people. It's a small market, but many of those people, if you know anybody on dialysis, they hardly have what to eat. They struggle so much finding what to eat because they don't have kidney to process the food we call good is bad for them. Now we have a flour that is nourishing and it doesn't have the minerals. In other words, it's suitable for them. Right now, I'm looking for like 10 people that I could give away some products to try.
Here is the thing that I'll tell you. Gluten-free. We in New Jersey is one of the highest states for kids with autism, and a lot of them are intolerant to gluten. Most of the things that we have are wheat-based. Now, you can expand your market by broadening and just looking at parents with kids on special diets. You can go to the schools and talk to people who provide a diet, like companies like Red Rabbit, to see how much gluten-free products that they have in their food. They want to give kids pancakes, and can you see? Now the question is, do you have the capacity to mass produce? So you pick a flavor that you know is popular with kids in your flour and see if you can mass produce it in bulk to those school districts that are serving, because it doesn't help you to, and that means you are now changing. Right now it sounds like you are retail. You're going retail with your product, but now you might have to change your business model and go wholesale. And then get a co-packer to mass produce your flour that you can then provide to all these places that require cafeterias that require gluten-free diet. The other thing is, with what you're doing in the food business, you could go as a federal contractor also to see if you can provide nutritional foods to the army, to the defense, to the State Department, to anybody who is doing development work overseas and providing nutritional, looking for nutritional packages. You could also be working with Department of Human Services. They've got kitchens where people are looking. I mean, so your business can be scaled by going wholesale. Now, as for marketing retail, and I'll tell you honestly, ladies, digital marketing requires a lot of input in cash flow for it to show results. And if you don't know how to do it, you might as well hire somebody who knows how to do it. You have to hire somebody. Otherwise, you'll be $5,000 in and there's very little conversion on the money that you have invested. And you have to be watching whether it's bringing you those analyses that Facebook give you, Twitter give you, Instagram give you, Amazon give you if you're on Amazon. And I didn't ask you where you're selling, but you have to be measuring to see if I put out a campaign, a digital campaign about my product, is it selling? Now, also one thing that I'm noticing, people are so visual. I have gotten into video. And I've started a vlog about a healthy lifestyle. I'm not giving people clinical advice, but from my own experience, diets have never worked. And besides, in my family, genetically, nobody is a size 2. So I'll never try to be a size 2, okay? But I just want to be healthy. I want to eat healthy. I want to feel healthy. I want to be mentally healthy. And I've started looking at things. So if you start doing your products and you start doing videos of demonstrating the many things while you're talking about the benefits of your product, and you start baking pancakes or doing dumplings or the many ways people can use, and people can actually do it, and they see, oh my goodness, I watch the cooking channel and I'll be like, oh, you know what? I just want something in the background. Before I know it, I'm sitting here watching food. Okay? People love food, and that's a necessity. It's not going anywhere. But you have to demonstrate the many ways your product can be used. And while you're still selling the benefits of it, create a YouTube channel where you are talking about each one of your flavors and the different things that you can do, how, if they can use it for soup, you know, white sauce soup, whatever, and, you know, add to it. This is how people are buying, and they'll see, they'll be like, oh my goodness, where can I get this? Or is it available on Amazon? Tell them where it is available. And you're demonstrating. Even have your nutritionist here and tell them, you know, go to the food label and say, okay, with this. I mean, if you are in gluten-free, people are making money with that product. But unless you're tooting your own horn and you're being a titan, a guru, because you have to give people confidence and showcase and get some of your customers who have got diabetic, who have benefited from that, to speak for you. You saying, oh, you know, there's an ingredient in our flyer that helps them with processing because of this, doesn't matter. Let them speak for you. How did it help you? Do those stories, do the vlogs, and just keep on. And then routinely on your Instagram page, on your Facebook page, keep on posting. Now, the other thing is posting on digital marketing is when you post on Instagram and you share it on Facebook or you share it on WhatsApp, when it goes to this other site, it's not original content anymore. When you're doing marketing campaigns, only Instagram will have your original content. So what you want to do is you want to post it on Instagram originally, then post another version of it, whatever, or the same version on Facebook directly, then post on Twitter, so that when you're ready now to do an email a campaign on Twitter or whatever, you've got original content on all those platforms. And also you change your website so that people can access those videos as as you are posting them, they are live, everything. And this way, you then move to digital marketing to pay somebody to do it for you, because you have a good product and it's it's food. But then you might have to think, like I said, is your business model still aligned with what has happened? You might have to start phasing in some wholesaling and doing contracts and looking for people to help you. Anybody else wants to add or help her? Give her ideas?
May I? I just added to the chat. I said that, she was talking about wanting to connect with people who have certain health conditions and would benefit from eating, healthier and some of these specialty flours. So there are often nonprofit organizations and groups. So if you want to connect with people who have dialysis, I'm sure there are kidney disease related nonprofit organizations that might be willing to have you come talk, that might be willing to allow you to provide samples from some of your from some of their constituents. On a larger scale, though, the UN and the World Health Organization also have specialty feeding programs to try to get nutrition into the hands of people who need it. So there might be opportunities there as well, but that would be on a grand scale.
Yeah. Rose, and Rose, talk about your business as well while you're giving your advice, because you came in later.
I did come in later. I tried to get in on my phone while I was traveling and couldn't. Hello, everyone. I'm Roz Miller-Choice, and I'm known as the Expert Maker, and I'm a personal branding specialist. So one of the things you said, and I don't know if you saw me just sort of going, yeah, when you were talking about YouTube channels and putting together videos. Video is really very, 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 very strong. 4 times as many customers would rather watch a video about a product than read text. And one of the things I often tell my clients is you need to look like the expert in your industry. You have a very unique product, and I suspect it grew out of a personal story. And so you have expertise in an area that you need to flaunt. You need to be the expert in these milled ingredients that have better nutritional value. Since you have a lull right now, this is the opportunity for you to focus on that sort of free marketing. Go ahead, start a YouTube channel. I cannot co-sign what she was saying more. It is about you taking that opportunity to make short videos. And let me make this perfectly clear. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be Emmy Award winning right now.
Yeah.
Get that darn iPhone or your Android, get in your kitchen, bake something, show that product, make sure that your product is always in the composition in view, and showcase your expertise. Sit down in front of a camera, talk about the nutritional value without crossing the line of what you aren't necessarily qualified to do. So be cautious legally, but you want for people to be able to, when they start to look for specialty flours, gluten-free flours, and do searches, that your YouTube stuff shows up. And I would say this, since you have sort of this opportunity right now, in terms of the lull, go ahead and plan to produce 15 videos. You don't have to release them all right now, but produce them and then release one at a time, once a week. All right. And gather as much of that kind of content as possible right now. Take what you do on YouTube, take that same script and turn it into an article. Take that same script and have a graphic artist do 5 tips to better eating that you're posting on Facebook, that you post on IG. So take the same content and 10x it. Use it in 10 different ways.
Yeah.
All right, that's enough for me.
That's great. Thank you. And to tell you the honest truth, my daughter introduced me to this little tripod. I bought it on Amazon, and it can hold my phone. And I like it because I can walk around. I go to walk, and when I do my vlogs, I'm walking in the park and put my phone in here, and I'm talking and I'm holding it. And yeah, they're shaking a little bit because I'm walking, but it motivates me to walk, but I'm also doing something that I love. And I can put it in my kitchen or in front of my desk, have my phone here and be talking. My hands are free and it's perfect for everything, little gadgets. And I think this thing, was less than $50. This little tripod. Yeah. I'm trying to have you see it without zooming up. So it's so good, and it does everything. And those are some of the gadgets you might want to look for. But definitely, like we talked about, you are an expert, you are a titan in your business. I had explained before you came on that I watched Shonda Rhimes' The Year of Yes. And she kept on, a year ago, and she kept on referring to herself as a titan. And I was so fascinated because I like people who give themselves accolades, So, hey, what you say, Dito? Anybody else we can share about your business? Even what we just talked about, is your business aligned? What are you struggling with? What do you think you can do better? What help do you need? Yes, Tiffany, talk about your business, because introduce yourself and then also.
Okay. Hi everybody, my name is Tiffany. I started working on my business actually 10 years ago when I finished my undergrad. And my business is titled Selfish for Your Health. The reason why I titled it this as Selfish for Your Health is because I wanted to help Black women to take better care of themselves. Growing up, I came from a family that, I saw my mom work hard, sacrifice herself, and she put herself last. I saw my sisters do the same thing. I saw my grandmother do the same thing. And as a child, I thought I'm supposed to become obese when I became older because I saw it in my family. And I also realized I took on those habits when I got older, going to school, going to grad school, and I let my health fall by the wayside. But I also went to school for health and wellness. So my background is in exercise science, my master's is in public health. And I realized what I wanted to do is combine those two worlds together to help Black women, especially to combat health disparities so that we can reverse some of those conditions or teach Black women how to manage those conditions better through the 8 dimensions of wellness and the social determinants of health. So although I have the background and I formally made my LLC, I had it for about 2 years now. I'm ready to launch. I've done things over time to practice how I want this business to be. I have my website, everything is ready to launch. I think my reservations is the confidence to really push this forth. As a health coach, I'm a wellness expert. I also work at a hospital doing employee health and wellness. So I want to give this back to women of color because I work with predominantly other races. So I want to expose more women of color to these services that I provide. And I just want to make sure, I think I'm the most concerned about making sure the system flows well with how I can get people connected to my health coaching group classes and wellness services and workshops. And I'm also concerned about making sure I track my expenses properly. And I tried to do QuickBooks, got confused, and I just left it there. So I just want to make sure I'm very efficient, and I hold off because I'm a perfectionist, and that's my downside, my flaw, I guess you can say too. But I do need help in just knowing how to make this professional and efficient for myself and for the people that I work with.
Wow, wow, wow. All the things that you were saying, that was me 20 years ago. And anybody else who wants to add, please feel free. Don't let me dominate the conversation. One of the things about, ask yourself, from confidence, why not? What have I got to lose? I heard you use the word professional, perfectionist. Listen, one thing I will say is do it until you get it. Practice makes perfect. So if you're not doing it at all and waiting to make it perfect, you are missing your advantage, your first advantage of doing it. It's okay to do it and go to your inner circle or to people you trust their judgment and ask them, what do you think? And I have heard when I started doing videos, I used to be very self-conscious and I'm like, oh, people are gonna see me and I'm gonna be talking about my life and disclosing, because I do have a channel called Personal Lifestyle Determinants of Health. That's my on YouTube. But then I just said, what have I got to lose? I'm enjoying this. I'm seeing it working. It's helping me with my going on a path of lifestyle, or at least I'm on a journey. So you need to think, what have I got to lose to do this? You already have the credentials and the academic background that give you the legitimacy. You are in a field that you went to school for. What you now have to do is to work on your inner self. Mm-hmm. That's what's holding you back. It's not because you don't know what it is. And this is why we're talking about being the titan of your business. Have that confidence, and it comes with you, even if you're talking. I don't know how many times I spend talking to myself in the mirror. And I do a video and I'm like, oh, my mouth was this, and then now I'm like, I'm doing it, and now I'm getting feedback, people enjoying what I'm saying and giving them, things to think about. And, I'm not saying do it the way I do it, but I'm giving you a framework. So you just have to do it. The other thing I want to tell you is, which is a mistake that I did when I was younger, is I would give away a lot of my intellectual property and a lot of my in my business. Learn to get paid. Every one of you, a lot of women, we volunteer. Learn to get paid. Because even if people give you an opportunity to come and speak, now I can afford to go out and speak all the time for free, because that's part of what I do, especially with the center. But in my consulting business, I would always be asked to come and speak, and I wouldn't charge. And then I would hear somebody else who was on the panel with me got paid because they asked. So those are some of the things that just keep on doing it. Even, I always give this example, even Bill Gates, when he was starting Microsoft in his parents' garage, he didn't know it was going to blow up, but he saw an opportunity. He went to IBM, he was rejected, and guess what? He took over the world of technology, and everybody else was a follower, just to do it. It'll never be perfect, because when you get to that point, when you think your business is looking the way it want to look, here comes somebody else with a new idea who has pivoted from watching you, and you gotta keep on running, So it never stops. It never be perfect, and you always are evolving. And if you are not evolving, then you are contented with where you are with your business. If you are evolving, at some point your business will tell you, oh, we gotta move on to the next level. So I know you can do it. You just have to be confident. And you have to tell yourself, say, I'm a Titan. Why not? I'm a Titan. You can do this. And this is not a pep talk. It's practice makes perfect. Anybody else who want to help her, who had something that we haven't addressed or that can help her?
Well, I have a question about what you said, Dr. Nadoro. When you said learn to get paid, because I have a lot of family and friends that call me with issues, like life issues. And it's just like, I have a friend, she paid for like $50 for a photographer to do her photo shoot for her business. Then she paid the makeup artist, but I've been giving her like all my like intellectual property, like how to, go along with her business. So I said, okay, so you paid them this, you paid them that, but what are you going to pay me? And she felt like she didn't have to pay me because we're such good friends. So how do I learn how to get paid, basically, for my life coach business?
And a lot of us are very ashamed of talking about money, because it's something we were raised, it's rude to talk about money, right? So you don't have to get paid. But in my consulting, I actually had I learned it from another consultant who had been seasoned for a long time, and I had that issue. But now when people would call me and they're like, oh, I want to pick your brain, and my answer is, what's your budget?
That's cute.
I'm not talking about money. I'm just asking you, what's your budget to pick my brain?
Exactly.
Actually, can I please jump in here? Please, 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 please let me jump in here. You know what? A lot of people, and this is something I say all of the time, you have to monetize your message, or your message is going to be very short-lived. If you know that there are, and this is something I help my clients with, sort of that uncovering your genius. Stop and think, what is it that people are calling you to pick your brain about, right? Ask yourself, what is it that this person wants to know from me? Why do they want to know it from me? Do I have the expertise? Have I had the experience? Have I gone through, have I been trained to do this? Did I go to school and pay for this? Well, you did not get that knowledge for free. Why are you giving it away for free?
Absolutely.
Right. And so you have to be able to create products and or services here because it's your advice or it's your consultation. You have to create services around that. See, she couldn't buy your knowledge because you hadn't packaged your knowledge and given it a price. And that's something you have to do. You have to stop and go, well, what's my knowledge? Oh, I know how to buy real estate. Let's say, I'm just going to give that example. And you want to sit with me for an hour and learn about investing in real estate? Sure. Here's the cost for that 1 hour consultation. The other thing is when someone takes the time to pick your brain and does it for free, I believe you have done them a disservice. Because if someone were paying you for that knowledge and that information, you would take the full time to give them the full story, the what, the how, the step by step. You would have given more thought to the information that you're given and some action steps. And there would be a value placed on the information that you're giving them. No value, no follow through. She doesn't have a reason to follow through with what the information that you gave her. So you may have wasted your time and hers.
Well said, well said, well said. And that is very, very important. I remember before I started my bed and breakfast, people knew I had a big house because I had kicked out my tenants, and especially family and friends and colleagues and family, friends of family who were also being referred. You know, I'm near the city. I'm near New York. They want to come for vacation and they travel a lot. And they would say, well, you know, we're coming to the city. We haven't seen you in a while. We want to, you know, to come and be with you and live with you. And to tell you the truth, they would come, I would be hosting, I would be cooking, I would be tired. They don't even contribute to groceries, okay? And they come with 3, 4 kids. That's a family of 6, right? Or they have 5 girlfriends. Oh my goodness. I woke up one day, set up my B&B, and you know what I said? Oh, we are coming to visit you. We are coming to the city. We are coming to visit New York. Everybody wants to come to New York. And we thought, we would come and stay with you, etc. I said, oh, really? That is so wonderful. I'll send you the link of my listing. You can book on Airbnb. They would come. They would never call me because they didn't pay. They would go and pay the Hilton, but they will not pay me. And it's all good. When I see them next time, I was like, but you were coming to the city. Oh, we came and then we had to end up staying in, in Manhattan. Yeah, you gave, and I would just say, oh, so you gave Hilton business, but you couldn't give your girl business. So, you have to recognize that it doesn't mean you don't love them. It just means that your resources and your assets and your money matters. You have worked for it. And therefore, if you are allowing, because in the case of my family, they have other friends who can also, who would exploit, and they would be like, I'm calling you because my friend so and so, people I don't even know, visit me. And I would just say, give them the link. This is where we are. Oh, how can you charge them? Yes, because I'll never go and stay in their house. So this is a business. We don't have space. We only have business space. So they better book. So you find that people start respecting you and your business. And like she said, no value, no appreciation for what you have to offer. So it always starts with you packaging your services, making sure that you know what you're worth. I have a whole other class that I do under my consulting, my leadership consulting about self-worth. Oh my goodness, even I sometimes sit and cry because I'm realizing I'm telling other people what I'm not practicing. You know, dig deeper. And I start asking, where does this come from? That I don't value my intellectual property. I don't value my resources that I'm willing to give them away. I mean, this was when I was younger. My 30s and 40s were traumatic because I was digging deeper all the time. And this is why I like to work with women, because we arrive at that point where we can actually, and we can support each other, but not in exploitative manners, but we also have gratitude. And the next time I say, okay, I'll give you a free consultation, but you have to pay me, some people will appreciate, because now they respect what you do. So we have to start as business, like I said, as business women, we have to start seeing ourselves as great, as titans, as gurus in what we do. And we have to have self-worth, and we have to define what self-worth looks like. And you start small. You start with, a friend who you'll give a service that you might want to charge $350 for $50 an hour, but learn from that. Yes. Because the other thing that I've learned in business is, and especially in service consulting business, is if you train your clients to lowball you on price of what you're worth, those at some point when you have refined your businesses and as you grow, you might have to lose those clients because they'll never want to pay you what you're worth. So sometimes you just have to let them go. I like to work with institutions because usually I'll look like the lady who talked about, she is in coaching. I usually like my clients to be B2B. I like B2B because when I work with B2B, there is very strict understanding rules. And that's why I want you all to figure out how you can drive your businesses to be B2B business. Like if you are going in wholesale, if you're going to work with hospitals, because they usually pay you, but also if you undersell your services, they're gonna pay you for a low bid that you provided. So you also have to know what everybody else in your industry is charging for that service if they are approached. And then let the consumers be beneficiaries of your service, but they are not your clients. Your client is who is paying you, who is giving you a contract. And I will tell you this, I've done this globally. At the end of the day, when your business really start growing is when you are getting contract due to B2B relationships. It will still grow on an individual retail business, B2C, but then you are now getting into employees to do the heavy lifting. You're now getting into all these other things and, legal, all sorts of things. I prefer B2B, and I always think, how can I turn my business into a B2B business in the long run? The other thing I always do is how I start with the idea of a global business mindset. How can I take my business global? And I heard you say, well, you have a specific niche market of focusing on Black women. But what I've learned over the years is women are women. And you will find a way of packaging your services in such a way that it appeals to all sorts of people of different ethnicity, different backgrounds, different cultures. And when you get to that point, you are ready to scale your business, because we need to learn to scale our businesses. United States is only 5% of the global market. Where is the other 95%? And this is a Department of Commerce statistics. I didn't make that up. Look for that other 95. There are opportunities. And here you might be in a business or in a product or service offering that is oversaturated, which means there are too many people offering it. Get out. Find a way to differentiate yourself in many other ways. And that's how you grow your business. I've had people who had one corporate client for years. And then one day the corporate client came and said, no, we are terminating this contract. And guess what? They were out flat. They did not have a business. And I was like, no, you didn't have a business. You had a gig going on with that corporate client. Because while you had that contract, you should have been franchising your services to other corporations like that corporation who could use your business and leverage that relationship as a way to legitimize your capability. So you would have had 5 corporate clients that have an identical need, that are all giving you revenue. But you stayed with one client because you were making $250,000 a year, and that was enough. It was a lifestyle hobby that you called a business, because if you were thinking of what would the end look like, you would have been looking for other clients while you have the cushion and the comfort of this existing client. And then you built your reputation based on, wow, if Lucent can hire me, hey, why can't Verizon hire me? Why can't Comcast hire me? Why can't all this, if you're in telecom service, why can't all these telecom companies hire me? Why can't I go to Maryland and look at their company that's there that provides, and that's how you think. But you get comfortable because you got this, delicious contract with one customer. So those are some of the things that you need to think about with your business.
Yeah, I wanted to say I started like that, in very narrow market. I was going to provide alternative fufu flour, healthier fufu for the African market. Mm-hmm. And I took 2 years traveling around the country and realized that the market is great, but the quality I was providing was not conducive for the market. And so it took me another 2 years to get myself out. And once I expanded my line of products, I got grant from a NJ STEP program. You have the Food Export USA. Now I have my brand, and there are so many opportunities when you have something to offer. And now with all that the state and the federal has, they give you, I used to pay brokers so much, and I realized I could get expert advice from SBDC for free. You have a Food Export, you have US Commerce Service. There's so many places ready to help and ready to give you grant money.
And I want to correct you on that, because SBDC services are not free. When Karen is consulting with us, I'm paying her. And this is your tax dollars that has gone into the Office of Management and Budget, and has been allocated to the SBA. And then we are the service delivering arm of the SBA, and we are providing it to you. And sometimes I get clients saying, oh, I talked to these consultants, but I don't like another one. And I'm asking them, would you pay if it was coming out of your pocket? Because that mindset that they think we are free, they don't realize it's your tax dollars at work. So when we are giving you advice, we can't implement, definitely it's against federal law, but that person who has advised you, I am paying that person. So it wasn't free.
No, the thing is that it's the reason that it wasn't free. I know you understand. It's free because it's such a quality advice that is there. All we need, you have people highly qualified. I am totally grateful when I see my reps come, even take interest in my idea, listen to me. And then you look on the other side, if I have to pay, which I paid, I couldn't even get anything that close. So that's why there's so much out there.
No cost.
We have to have the right product, the right industry, the right text, in order to be able to take advantage of the opportunities. That's the
and
point.
Also the right mindset. I can't emphasize enough the right mindset to succeed in business, because and I remember I went to an event with Russell Simmons. I think he had just released a book. I can't remember the title of the book. And at Rutgers. And one of the things that he said is, if you find yourself in a room where you have the most knowledge, you are in the wrong room. If you find yourself always in circles where you are most comfortable, you are in the wrong circle. Learn to push the envelopes and learn to branch out to other people of different backgrounds, different cultures, different ethnicities, different race, and surround yourself with people who know more than you do, because that's how you're gonna grow. With the internet, of course, now with the internet, I Google everything. Like I told you earlier, I know what the word titan means, but I had to Google it so that I can psychologically sink it in my head and then start, leveraging it for what I wanted to talk about. So always read, always research, always change the narrative, change the paradigm, because you have to think outside the box with your business. And so this is, if I were to leave you with anything, best solutions in life come from within. But you have to do the groundwork. You have to go out there. You have to research. You have to read. If this is your industry, food is your industry, coaching is your industry, and also join associations that are, if you're, coaching associations, food industry, and read, and subscribe to industry magazines in your area so that you know exactly what's going on and you don't become obsolete or mediocre and you don't get surpassed by trends, by events, because you were not educating yourself ongoing. So be a titan in your business. And don't feel a complex that I'm not there yet, I'm not yet experienced, I'm not yet perfect. It will come with time. Do what you can do now. Listen to feedback and do corrective measures and keep on moving. Okay, any more questions? I know Stephanie came in later and she hasn't introduced her business. Would you like to introduce your business and who you are? Can she hear me?
Yes. I'm Stephanie Aisha Steplight Johnson. And what I'm working on developing or thinking about is something related to agriculture. So I have different thoughts in mind, which direction to go. So that's what I'm working on.
Is it an agricultural product or is something you want to sell to the agricultural industry?
A product.
Okay. Okay. Is it something that will include manufacturing or you're just a distributor?
Producing in terms of, I'm thinking about microgreens. I'm thinking about cut flowers.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two that interest me the most, possibly produce. So I'm just looking at the pros and cons and learning more. I'm taking a course right now in urban agriculture, so I'm learning a lot about it. So that's what I'm working on right now.
And urban agriculture is huge now. It's coming as we lose land and people have got food deserts. I know in Newark, or is it Newark or Nutley?
Newark.
A building there where they are doing vertical agriculture.
Yeah, in Newark.
It's in Newark, right?
Yes.
And they're doing vertical agriculture where they are producing the lettuce that you've been seeing in a lot of the supermarkets actually around Newark. And it's a big production. It's corporate, it's not small. And so, and are you also affiliated with the USDA?
Right now I am doing research about USDA, the different programs, the different grants that are available. The other hat is air property that my family has. And we are thinking about some things with the heirs property, and we're working with the forestry program. Right. So the possibility of being able to turn air property into a forest and looking at things like getting paid for growing trees, being able to get the agricultural credits for helping people to reduce the carbon footprint. So getting corporations that might pay for the fresh air that the trees are producing, and they need to have some credits for the pollution and carbon that they are producing. So I'm looking into those different opportunities and resources.
Because I think there's a division, I can't remember, there's a division under USDA that does a lot of studies and a lot of trends analysis about what's going on with everything agriculture. And
yes,
yeah, you might want to, because it requires a lot of research, and what you're doing is unconventional. So there could be a lot of trends moving in your direction that would open up a whole lot of opportunities that you could exploit to monetize and take it to the next level. But I know
that's true. There's a lot of research about food. So for example, in addition to the microgreens or the cut flowers or the aquaculture or aquaponics, hydroponics, there's a lot of research about bees and honey and pollinators and flowers and having gardens to attract the bees. And also a lot of focus on ginger, turmeric, and hemp. There's a great deal of the research under the different agencies under USDA that are focusing on those areas.
It's huge. It's huge. And I think a lot of times people only think of agriculture in the traditional sense of having a farm and producing and selling it to a mass producer or to, a Tyson or something like that, but new innovative ways, innovation that's coming out of agriculture. That's really, are you also familiar with the Cook's campus at Rutgers? That's agricultural extension.
Yes.
Okay, good. So, I mean, there are opportunities out there, and you just have to do, like with everything else, I always encourage people to do their research, find out information, because before you even operationalize your business ideas, because and subscribe to those industry magazines, because the joy of doing that is it makes you understand what's coming, what's trending, what's on the horizon.
Yes.
Can I jump in here?
Yes.
Hello, Dr. Steplight.
Hi, Roz.
It's good to see you here, and you are uniquely qualified to do this research. With your educational background, this is a no-brainer for you. It just is a no-brainer, and I'm so excited to hear that you are thinking of coming on over to the entrepreneurial side. So congratulations to you. But I would encourage you, get the information you need and then get busy, get started. Don't get stuck in the research end of it. Because what happens is you will continuously tweak, new information will continuously come out. And if you go ahead and launch, not before time, but don't get stuck in procrastination or get stuck in research, do what's needed, and you will continuously tweak as your business launches and grows. But it's good to see you here, Soror. It's good to see you.
Thank you, Roz. Thank you so much, Soror.
Okay, so I think we are almost, Tokoa, do we still have a few minutes? Well, we are 6 minutes behind our time. So thank you very much. I hope this was valuable, and we hope to see you at our next Tea and Talk, and we'll probably have a panel of speakers, but it's been a pleasure having you join us and speaking with us and having these conversations about being titans in our business. And please don't hesitate to contact the SBDC. I always say that if I If we don't know, we know somebody who does, who does know.
Yes.
Who can help you. We are not only just advisors, we are also like a clearinghouse for everything business. And that's what we are mandated to do. At the end of this workshop, you will receive a link for an evaluation for this meeting. Please make sure to complete it. And I think I did introduce, everybody introduce themselves, and do take a look, complete our evaluation and submit it, because we need that for our compliance. And do take a look at our website to see what are some of the events that are coming up. And if you do receive our newsletter and you know some aspiring entrepreneurs or small businesses that haven't heard about us, please forward it. Even if you don't come to the event, just share the information. Let them know we are here to help. And thank you for the compliment that you recognize our consultants are expert, because I do go to a great extent to curate the consultants that work with us, and I make sure they're also, we don't do theory, although we are in a research university, but I want to work with people who are actually doing it, because they understand running a small business is very different from working in a corporate unit. So all of you know what it's like to be a business. It's a different animal. And sometimes people just think that, oh, a small business is a boutique of a corporate enterprise. In a way they are, but in a way they are we still have to have the same systems and structures, but the way we behave and operate are completely different. So thank you very much. And it's been a pleasure meeting you all.
And Dr. Indora.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
Chevelle
you.
Kelly.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Yes, Dr. Indora, it's Chevelle Kelly. And I just wanted to say the presentation was spot on and very dynamic. And all of you here, I just want to say that in addition to promoting my own business, I also promote others. I have what I call a spotlight initiative. That is spotlighting a business, a small business that needs exposure. So I expose that business to my people and my customers, and it has worked wonders. And I hope that I can perhaps get contact information. If any of you have a website or an email, I would love to spotlight your business and expose your business to my clientele, because I believe in not just growing my own business, but using that also as a catalyst to grow anyone else's business as well. So please, if you're in the chat, drop your email. That is a great idea. And I would love
Chevelle, why don't you drop, we won't log anybody out yet. Why don't you drop your contact detail in the chat so that those who are looking to get in touch with you will cut, paste it, and reach out to you.
Okay, I did that. So I'm kind of further up in the conversation chain.
Okay, so just look in the chat. We won't close it anytime soon. And what's your delivery channel that you are spotlighting businesses?
Okay, so the website, because I'm more on the private banking side, it's highly regulated, so it has to be moderated a certain way. But in terms of the website, I would like to spotlight or kind of like do a share. I have a web designer we're still in progress with that, because there has to be a way to deliver that.
Okay.
But one piece that I want to have on the website is spotlight entrepreneurs. There has to be a section that can highlight someone's business, entrepreneur, that we can promote, that we can fund, that we can have an exchange. So that's a piece of my website that I want to create. It was kind of my idea. It was new to my designer, but I think it's very important. It's not just about me. It is, but it's also about everybody else. And my philosophy is, if I'm in business and doing well and believe in what I'm doing, I'm sure all of the women here in this webcast, they feel the same way. So I want to take you with me as I go with you, develop you as I develop myself. So yeah, let's share, ladies. Don't be afraid. Let's blow it up. Let's do what we know what we can do best.
Okay, thank you for sharing and for offering. And I think those who have taken down your contact information, we do already have your details. The reason why I'm doing it this way is if you know anyone here who you'd like to reach out and you know share services or pay for their services, we cannot give you contact list of anybody who attend the event. It's our confidentiality. So it's a federal regulation on our way, the way we operate. It's our compliance, contract compliance requirement. But we definitely encourage you to share information in the chat and people will reach out to you. All right, thank you very much. And that's the end of
You know
our.
what? I don't see Chevelle's
She said
information though.
she's up. If you scroll up in the chat, I think.
Yeah, for some reason I can't seem to scroll up. Don't know why. Chevelle, would you mind just re-putting an email or something like that? Because I just looked you up on LinkedIn and I don't see you there.
Okay, I will do it again.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Dr. Ndoro.
And Roz, I actually saw your information. Okay.
Yeah, I don't see Ernest Kelly's information either.
Ernest Kelly is Chevelle Kelly. My husband kind of invaded my tablet.
I figured
here,
that
so
much.
He
I'm
put
like,
his name on.
yeah, she's
He
not
put his name
Ernest.
on it, and I didn't realize it till I opened up the web.
Chevelle, so Chevelle, I see where you posted, but there's no contact information.
All right, I'll do it again, ladies.
And make it a good habit. When you network,
select everyone.
Go and LinkedIn and follow anybody that fascinates you, that interests you, that you might want to do business with. And if you don't have a profile on LinkedIn, get one today.
Dr. Ndoro, while you're here, I had attended a webinar some time ago, and I don't know if it's possible to get like a recording of it or something. Do I need to call your office to see if I can get a link?
No, what we normally do is we and send an email to Priscilla, because any attendees who attend a webinar, we are sending them the PowerPoint presentation. If there was a PowerPoint presentation, we also send them the recording. Yes, Tekoa, Priscilla?
Yes, that's correct.
We share the recording only with people who attended the workshop. So if you signed up and didn't show, you are not going to get it. And then, and that's those two things will be sent to you.
If it's long ago, would it still?
You remember what it was? You have to send.
Yes, I know exactly what it was.
Was it after? Was it during COVID?
Yes.
Okay, because we started recording when we went virtual with all our webinars. So we probably have a recording, or it's probably on our YouTube channel, or etc.
Okay.
But just send an email to the center and mention which webinar you attended, what date you attended, and they will send it to you directly. This way you're not costing looking for it.
Caroline, I posted my email in the chat, so just reach out to me.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. And that's another thing of going virtual, because then you can listen to these conversations over and over again, and you can kind of like, okay, you know, sometimes things go by so fast in a blur, and you can start taking your own notes, and you can, you know, listen to it over and over again. And, you know, get your takeaways.
Thank you so much.
And Caroline, thanks for putting out your business as well in your email, because come to think of it, I do have a client who was looking for exactly what you're talking about. They're in Pennsylvania though. But do you do that territory? Is that a territory your business would service?
Oh, we are everywhere. We're scaling up.
Okay, good. So we're going to talk. I have to share them with you. I think that would be
okay, ladies, and I hope to see you at our other events coming up. If you need to reach me, my email, let me put my email in here as well. Usually I'm unreachable because I'm more of an administrator than but email, I'll eventually, if you just remind me where we met, or, you know, if it's about the WEN, I will eventually get to you. I try to do it within 24 hours, but I get pulled away. Business. So if you are not hearing from me, like, you know, today's Thursday, we're getting to the end of the week, and I usually reserve the weekends for my businesses as well. So you either hear from me Monday morning, or at some point if I get on my mobile and I'm running through my emails. So don't think I'm not responding. It's just that I'm really an administrator of the center, and I've kind of moved away from counseling and advising, etc. So
Thank you so much for the encouragement.
just keep on doing it. There's so many opportunities, and you are in a unique industry, and you're in an advantage because people are changing. Food is changing, and people are experimenting, you know, with so many things, which is a great time to be in the food industry. And if you need help with mass producing, Rutgers has,
I'm going
you
to
know about Rutgers Food Innovation Center?
Okay.
You know about the Rutgers Food Innovation Center?
Yes, I'm looking for co-packers.
You're looking for co-packers. Call them, give them a call. They might know. And we're actually starting a foodpreneur series. And the lady who's teaching, she's been in the food industry for a while. She does also have relationships with co-packers, and she knows.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Devon Marie, can we get your email with regard to your business?
So just make sure that, but the Rutgers Food Innovation Center is from commercial to commercialization, and they've got a lot of contacts, and they might be able to give you co-packers as well.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because that's what they do, food innovation.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
So Caroline, would it be okay if I call you tomorrow? What's a good time?
Yeah, just call me.
We are busy women, so what I'll do is I will text you first.
I'm not busy enough for you. That's all right.
Yes, this is business. I will text you first.
Yeah, we'll
and then we'll set up a time. How does that sound?
Okay.
right,
Let's see.
very
Do
good.
you the number you have there, is that textable?
Oh, you know
Let's see,
what?
did I
The
put my
email.
textable number?
What I will do is I will email you and then we'll set up a time to connect. How does that sound?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, textable number is 225, but that's all right. Yes. Yes.
So this is it. And don't hesitate to contact the center for any assistance. Just ask us. All I say is ask, because we are here to help your businesses. One thing we don't want to see is businesses going under. Because you didn't ask for help.
Yes, ma'am.
And Dr. Endoro, before you click us out, let's just make sure that we have the email contacts. Okay.
Rose, thank you so much.
Yeah, you can just copy the chat, because right now you can just copy the chat, put it in a Word document and review it later.
Yeah, I'm saving my chat. So I will go
okay. Yeah. That's the trick. I usually just select all, copy it, and cut paste it in my Word document. So
okay.
Celia, we can close out.
Tiffany, I wish you well. You can do it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You are in the best industry right now with this pandemic, and lifestyle of health is huge.
Absolutely.
Determinants of health is huge. And I know I'm on one of the Robert Wood Johnson boards dealing with social determinants of health.
Oh, nice.
It's huge. They have, and the nice thing is these hospital networks are realizing they need to focus on social determinants of health as well as focus on clinical determinants of health. Because in the past, historically, it was clinical. And they realized the same issues keep coming back. And unless they address the issues, people will always end up in the emergency care.
Right. It's a reoccurring cycle.
It's a vicious cycle. And so that's what we talk about. And we are trying to change policy at the policy level. You know, we change policy to look at and put resources behind social determinants of health, because they're just as equal as clinical determinants of health.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Okay, ladies, and good night. I don't want to keep my staff here too long.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Everyone have a good day.
Bye.
Yeah.
Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.